again, and welcome to the second MOOC of the topic Music and Mathematics. In the first one, we learned about the meter, about beat, about matras, which is the subdivision of the beat, and about gatis, which is how we call each subdivision. And we also learned how to execute tisra, which is 3 subdivisions per beat, and chatusra, which is 4 subdivisions per beat, using the konakol method from Carnatic music. So for tisra we used takite as our syllables, and for chatusra we used takedimi. So let's continue now with number 5. So gati in 5 is called kanda. So essentially what that means is 5 subdivisions per beat. Okay? Now for this gati we will use the syllables ta, di, gi, na, ton. Ta, di, gi, na, ton. Some people can also say ta, ki, gi, na, ton, but I prefer ta, di, gi, na, ton because it's easier to differentiate between the second and the third one. Ta, di, gi instead of ta, ki, gi, ki, gi. I find it harder, but if you find it easier, please feel free to use that. So, ta, ti, gi, na, ton. So I will do it once. We'll start my metronome. So I count 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tati kinnaton, 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 ta. So as you heard, 5 equal subdivisions per beat, and we keep going on like that. Staccato. Tatikinaton. Let's try once together now with the same idea. We count 4 beats and then we do it for 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tatikinaton, 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 tatikinaton. You. Tatikinaton, 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 ta. Alright, that's it. Now let's take 1 minute so you can, let me stop the metronome, sorry, so that you can try kanda on your own. So do it the same way and do some couple of repeats throughout. So I know it's getting faster and maybe we start running out of breath easier and the syllables might be more tricky, but the more we practice, the more accustomed and the more familiar we are, let's say, with the syllables and the way we execute them. So we did tisra, chatusra, kanda. The next gati is number 7. There's no gati number 6, as I mentioned in the previous chapter. So let's see gati number 7, or the way they call it, misra. So misra now is 7 subdivisions per beat. And there are different ways we can say, different syllables we can use for misra. The first one would be takite takedimi, like 3 plus 4. Or takedimi takite, like 4 plus 3. Or tatiginaton take, like 5 plus 2. Now, all these 3 are correct. According to the rhythmical phrase we will have, we use one accordingly. You will also realize this on the following chapters, on how we choose one. For now, let's use takite takedimi. And this will be quite fast, so it's very important that we keep the staccato. So I will demonstrate once, I will count 4 beats, and then I will do it for 4 times. Misra. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Takite taketimi, takite takedimi, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takite taketimi, takite taketimi, takite takedimi, takite takedimi, takite takedimi, takite takedimi, takite taketimi, 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 takite takedimi, takite takedimi, ta. So it's quite fast, but I use the same metronome marking I used also for Kanda and Chatusra and Tisra. I mean 48. And this is important so we feel the difference between, as I mentioned already again. So let's try once together now. It is quite fast, but we will make it. So takite takedimi. Three and 1, 2, 3, 4. Takite taketimi, takite taketimi, takite taketimi, takite takedimi, takite taketimi, takite takedimi, takite takedimi, takite taketimi, takite takedimi, 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 ta. Okay, since though we have 3 variations of this gati, I will perform all 3 of them, and then I would like you to practice all 3 of them because we will use them later on. So I will say once takedimi takite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taketimi takite, taketimi, takite 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 takite taketimi, takite taketimi, takite taketimi, takite ta. And now I will also say tatiginaton take. 5 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tatiginaton take, 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 ta. Okay. So let's now take 3 minutes so that you practice 1 minute per variation, as we did before. So 1 minute for takite takedimi, 1 minute for takedimi takite, and 1 minute for tatiginaton take. Okay, so we did gati 3, we did gati 4, 5, and 7. So other words, we did Tisra, Chatusra, Kanda, and Misra. What about number 6? Why we didn't do number 6? So the way we perceive number 6 is 3 Tisra twice as fast. So Tisra is 3 subdivisions per beat. So if this is twice as fast, it would be 6 subdivisions per beat. So essentially there's no gati 6, but there is Tisra second speed. That's how we call it. So let's try to do Tisra second speed now. And for this example, we also have 2 variations. We could say takite takite, 3 plus 3, or we could also say takedimi take, 4 plus 2. Again, the syllables we will use are going to be depending on the musical phrase, but we'll do both now. So let's start by takite takite. I will count 4 beats and then we'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takite takite, 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 ta. together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and takite 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 takite. You and takite 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 ta. All right. Now let's try the other variation. Take dimi take. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take dimi take 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 dimi 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 take ta. And let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take dimi take 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 you. Take dimi take take dimi take take dimi take take dimi take ta. All right. So let's take 2 minutes now to practice 1 minute each for each variation. So 1 minute for takite takite and 1 minute for take dimi take. What is important though is, especially on the take dimi take, is to accent the first ta and not both. Not take dimi take dimi take take. We don't want this. We only want take dimi take dimi take ta. Okay? So let's take the next 2 minutes and we'll return. Okay, so we did Tisra in second speed, and now for the last one, let's see number 8. So there's no gati 8 as we said, and what would you guess would be number 8 or 8 subdivisions per beat or 30-second notes? It would be Chatusra second speed. So Chatusra is 4 subdivisions per beat. The second speed of that, or the twice as fast, would be 8 subdivisions per beat. And the syllables we will use for this gati is takedimi takejonu, or takejanu, however you feel more comfortable. We could of course say takedimi takedimi takedimi, but that becomes almost like a tongue twister. So let's use takedimi takejonu. Okay, the same process again. Tempo 48, I count 4 beats and I do it. 1, 2, 3, and takedimi takejonu, 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 takedimi takejonu ta. Let's do it together now. 1, 2, 3, and takedimi takejonu, 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 takedimi takejonu. You. Takedimi takejonu, takedimi takejonu, takedimi takejonu, takedimi takejonu ta. All right. So take 1 more minute to practice this gati change. So Chatusra second speed, and then we'll come back. So after doing Chatusra second speed, we have done all the gatis and we used all the syllables that we will be using in this MOOC. So we did Tisra, Takite, Chatusra, Takedimi, Kanda, Tatiginaton, Tisra second speed, Takite Takite or Takedimi Take, Misra 7, Takite Takedimi, Takedimi Takite, Tatiginaton Take, and Chatusra second speed, Takedimi Takejonu. Now, I would like to end this chapter by doing some exercises on these gatis. The first exercise we will be doing is to do, first of all, is to choose a metronome marking. So far we chose 48. What is important though is to get the sensation, to get some variations, is to keep changing this metronome marking each time we make the exercise. But let's always try to keep it between 40 and 60 beats per minute so that we can hear clearly if we make each subdivision correctly, each gatti correctly. So now I will put it in 46, let's say. Okay, now there are 4 exercises I would like us to make. The first exercise would be going from Tisra until Chatusra second speed. So going from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And we will repeat each gatti 7 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you remember the counting from the previous chapter. So I will start my metronome. I will do it once so you can see how it works. So we count 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta ki te 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 ta ke ti mi 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 ta ti ki na ton 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 ta ki te 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 takite 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 takademi 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 takademi takajonu takademi takajonu takademi takajonu takajonu takademi takajonu takademi takajonu takademi takajonu ta. That's it. So I used for 6 I used takite takite, and for 7, for Misra, I used takite takademi. Now, the second exercise, I will demonstrate all exercises and then you can take the time on your own to practice. The second exercise will be the other way around. So going from 8 to 3. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Again, same metronome marking, and we do 7 beats per gatti. So we start from 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takademi, takejonu, 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 takite takademi, takite takademi, takite takademi, takademi, takite takademi, takite takademi, takite takademi, takite takite, takite takite, takite takite, takite takite. Takite, 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 takikina, ton, tatikina, ton, tatikina, ton, tatikina, ton, tatikina, ton, tatikina, ton, tatikina, ton, takademi, 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 takite, 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 takite. Ta, ki, te, ta. This is completely different. The sensation that personally I always feel when doing these exercises is that when I go faster, I find the relationship between them closer. But when I go from fast to slow, from 8 to 3, I always feel that there's a bigger gap between each one. This is strange, but that's how it works. Maybe you have a different impression than I do. And of course, as you saw, I did, for example, instead of saying tatiginaton once, I said takiginaton, and I said also one takademi. That's totally fine. If you miss one syllable or if something else pops out, that's totally fine. But let's try to be as consistent as possible with the syllables, and the most important one, to be as consistent as possible with our rhythm, with our subdivisions. It takes time, so we need to keep practicing. Don't expect that you will do it from the first time, but of course if you do it, that's great. But this is a matter of practice. It's a matter of continuous practice all the time. Now the third exercise will be let's try to mix a little bit the gutties. In the examples I have, in the third exercise, I go from chatusra to misra to chatusra second speed to kanda to tisra second speed and to tisra. Or in other words, from 4 to 7 to 8 to 5 to 6 and 3. And in this example, we can do as many beats as you like per gatti. For the first one, I will do 4 beats per gatti. So I will do the example I just said. This is example number 3. 4 beats per gatti. 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Tac it dimmi, 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 tac it, 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 tac it dimmi, tac it giorno, tac it dimmi, tac it giorno, dimmi tac it giorno, tac it dimmi, tac it giorno, tatti kinnato, tatti kinnato, tatti kinnato, tatti kinnato, tac it dimmi, tac it, 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 tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, ta. So as you saw, I used different syllables this time for misra. I used take dimi takide, and for tisra second speed, I used take dimi take in order to get also familiar with these syllables. So feel free also to use different syllables every time you have to do misra or tisra second speed. So that was example number 3. Now let's do example number 4, where I go from kanda to tisra to misra to chatusra to tisra second speed, and then finally to chatusra second speed. And in this case, I will do 5 beats per gatti. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tatti kinnaton, tatti kinnaton, tatti kinnaton, tatti kinnaton, tatti kinnaton, tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, tacchi te, taccadimi, 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 tacchite, 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 taccadimi, taccheggiano, taccadimi, taccheggiano, taccadimi, taccheggiano, taccadimi, taccheggiano, taccadimi, taccheggiano, ta. That's it. So for the rest of the MOOC, I would like you to practice these exercises, steady BPM. The first 2, let's do 7 beats per gatti. The other 2, you can use from 4 until 8 beats per gatti. And of course, feel free to create your own series. You can just mix numbers and then create a sequence and then practice it throughout. That would be the 3rd step of the exercise, let's say. But make sure you practice these ones, because this is very important. Also to get accustomed to the syllables, but also to start internalizing the feeling of each subdivision. So I leave you to this. Good exercises, and see you in the next chapter.